Alrighty guys, if you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA, I make videos for NFL. All of these videos get posted on this subreddit called DF Sports with 1S. You can find my posts, my username is Shook. I post updates with all of the news that comes out. People talk strategy here. I answer all of your questions. If you have any, really good place to be. Check that out if that is something you're interested in. If you ever need to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on Reddit Messenger, or you can get a hold of me on Twitter at ToryLangley1992. And then if Discord is something you are interested in, where I have cores and player pools for cash and GPPs, private videos, stuff like that, a great community that you can talk to, a link to that will be down below. And I mean, we can't be stopped. Like, it just keeps going and going and going. Like, no one can stop us in NBA DFS. It's been absolutely insane. I really think, I don't know, man, probably got the best community out there that I've seen personally. But going over my lineup tonight, so I went with Drew Holiday, Seth Curry, Michael Porter Jr., Bobby Portis, Precious Achiuwa, Damian Lillard, Ben Simmons, and Jakob Poeltl. So the core that I had for today was going to be Drew Holiday. He absolutely smashed. Ben Simmons, he absolutely smashed. Seth Curry, he absolutely smashed. And Jakob Poeltl, he was on pace to absolutely nuke the slate and gets into random massive foul trouble. Loses out on a good 12 minutes or so. And you guys saw what Keldon Johnson did tonight. Of course, he finally has a ceiling game, but here's what I was saying. Everyone was asking me in Discord, 3,500 for util, 3,500 for util, 3,500 for util. Who do I go at utility for $3,500? I told everyone to go Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles absolutely broke the slate, but I didn't like the chalk there. So what I did, and what I think was the better play, was I went to a pretty much unowned Precious Achiuwa. Now he smashed. It didn't matter because obviously Joe Ingles smashed. I kind of want to see what I would have ended up with. 37.5 if I went to Ingles. 37.5 minus 22.25 equals 15.25 plus 316 equals 331.25. Okay, it wouldn't have been that much of a difference, but I told everyone. I even made a Twitter post about it. Here. OG will be guarding Drew tonight. Screenshot this later when Boucher or Precious break the slate at no ownership. I think Toronto plays a lot bigger tonight. That ended up being the case. Precious Achiuwa, they played a lot more of him tonight. He smashed. Unfortunately, with Joe Ingles absolutely breaking the slate, it didn't really matter too much, but definitely the right process there, in my opinion. And I have Bruce Brown here. Unfortunately, Jamal Murray played. That kind of screwed me, so I just pivoted to Michael Porter Jr. Everyone kept asking me what Josh Hart or MPJ. MPJ was definitely the move. Told everyone Josh Hart's definitely safer, but I prefer the ceiling on Michael Porter Jr. So that's who I went with because I always go with ceiling in GPPs. But you can go safe routes, definitely fine too if your lineup's looking really, really good. So really good night for me. Break even night because I did play a second lineup instead of having Precious in that lineup. I had Chris Boucher in it, so that one didn't cash, but still a profitable night overall. All right, we got a bigger slate finally. I think this is a really, really good slate. I really do think this is a really good slate. A lot of spots that I think will be under-owned, in my opinion. Really good spots for spend-ups, really good matchups, a lot of fast-paced games. So this will be a good one, in my opinion. So let's go over this. So Washington at the Knicks, not really a good matchup here. Bradley Beal is questionable. If he plays, there's not much for me. Like, Beal would be in play. I'd probably get off Kuzma and Porzingis at those price tags. then I probably wouldn't go to the value. If Bradley Beal's out, then you can consider guys like Porzingis. You can consider Kuzma for GPPs, but once again, not the best matchup, so I think I'll be looking elsewhere. But they definitely are in play. I will say DeLon Wright played a lot more last game. They actually played him with Monte Morris. If you want to take a shot on a 3.8K DeLon Wright, I don't think that's the worst thing you could do. If Bradley Beal's out, good point per minute guy. Like if I knew DeLon Wright was going to play 28 minutes again, I would definitely consider him tomorrow. But definitely no definitely not 100% sure he's going to play those minutes again. And then Monte, I think, is just appropriately priced. This is definitely an outlier. He's not going to go for that again. So, safe play, but overpriced in my opinion. Let's move on to, yeah, I don't think I can get to anyone else. Like, Gafford's minutes are down, Denny's minutes are down. So, yeah, man, not much on Washington. Let's move over to the Knicks. So, it's a good spot here for the New York Knicks. I mean, good thing with the Knicks, they're going to run their starters into the ground. So, I like Randall. I like Brunson. RJ Barrett played pretty much the whole entire game, but 2 games ago he barely played, wasn't in foul trouble that game. If I knew RJ Barrett was going to play the whole game again, I would like him quite a bit. He would just be entirely too cheap at 6.6K. So do what you want with that info. Like I said, I like Brunson. I like Randall. I think they're both solid plays just because they're not leaving the court. They're literally not leaving the court. And, like, they're just doing everything for the team. So, like the 3 main Knicks guys here, Mitchell Robinson always has a ceiling if he can stay out of foul trouble. Good thing with him, too, is earlier in the season he was capping out at 30 minutes. Of late, he's playing close to 40 minutes, so some interest in Robinson. And I can't get to the value. They're still overpriced. Like, quickly overpriced in my opinion still. Quentin Grimes definitely still overpriced. When Quentin Grimes gets down to like 4.2K, 4K-ish, I think he's going to be a good value. But 4.7K still seems priced about right to me. Let's move on to Atlanta. So tough spot here. I have no interest in anyone really. Like Trey, Murray, they do have upside for GPPs. Um, if you want to go there, be my guest. But I think I'll be looking elsewhere. I will say DeJounte Murray does seem a little bit too cheap at 8K, especially if they're going to focus their defense on Trey Young. That could open up spots for Murray. So I guess I'm interested for GPPs, but not a standout play. Capella is back. I believe he came off the bench last game, though. Let me double check. He did, so can't go to the bigs unless he starts and we get news he's not going to be on a limit, but can't get to the bigs, can't get to Collins, can't get to Okongwu. I'm not going to go to Bogdan at 5.2K. I'm not going to go to DeAndre Hunter at 5K. So Atlanta kind of seems like basically a cross off for me. So Dallas side of things, it's solid spot. I assume Murray will be on Lucas, not the best individual spot, but Luka always looks good, right? I don't have to go over why he's a good play. The price went down. He's basically playing 48 minutes game, so Luka looks really good. Wood with Luka back, I think is appropriately priced. Dinwiddie, no thank you. I don't know why he's 7K. Like, until he gets down to this like 6K range, he's pretty much unplayable with Luka back. Not going to get to Hardy with Luka back. We do have Dorian Finney-Smith coming back. Got to see if he's going to be on a limit, because if he's not on a limit and he goes back to playing like high 30s minutes, he would definitely be playable. But I feel like he'll be on a limit. Not going to get to Dwight Powell, especially with Wood and Dorian Finney-Smith back. So Dallas for me is just basically Luka at the top. So this game looks pretty appealing. So phenomenal spot here for the Pacers. I think Miles Turner looks great as a center option. Just Oklahoma City has been terrible. Good point per minute guy. I expect big minutes if the game stays close. Really like Miles Turner. Healed, Mathurin playable. Mathurin minutes kind of more in question now with Miles Turner back. Definitely do prefer Healed to Mathurin. TJ McConnell, he's not going to continue to average like 2 fantasy points a minute, so I will gladly fade when he's going to be chalk. Like if I knew he was going to be low owned, I think he'd be a solid play, but I know he's going to be very popular tomorrow. So when you factor in ownership, I'd rather just go to Nemhart at 5.2K, who has not been good. He has not been good, but the ceiling is definitely there with no Halliburton. All you have to do is go back to here, where he was absolutely smashing with no Halliburton. I just think he has to play a little bit better. I still like Nemhart quite a bit. TJ McConnell, if you're not factoring in ownership, is a good play, but when you factor in ownership, just give me the lower owned guy. Naismith should play low 20s minutes. He's an okay option, not someone I'm going to go out of my way to play. And I think that's probably it. Like, if you want to take a shot on Chris Duarte, be my guest, but I think it's just Miles Turner looks really good. I think Nemhard still looks good. TJ's fine. Um, yeah, Hield's fine, but definitely loses usage with Miles Turner back. So yeah, on the OKC side, so it's a phenomenal spot here for two. I like SGA quite a bit for tournaments. He's always going to be low owned. He always has 60 to 70 fantasy point upside. Him and Josh Giddey will pretty much run this offense. I like SGA as a spend up. I think Giddey is solid at 7.5K, been extremely consistent of late. Probably gets you close to a triple double. Minutes have been up as well. I don't mind it. Jalen, Dort, they're just secondary options, and I'm not going to go to anyone else on the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, not a good matchup here, but we have Donovan Mitchell out. So, Darius Garland, I'm ready to be in pain, but he looks amazing in the mid range at 8.1K with no Donovan Mitchell. Karis LeVert looks really good at 5.1K. He's going to get a usage bump. He'll move into the starting lineup. He is way too cheap. So both Garland, both LeVert look really good. Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, I think both look good too. They're just running such a tight rotation right now, so they're still a little bit too cheap. So like pretty much the whole starting five for Cleveland, or the starting four, I guess I should say. Chetty's been out of the rotation, so can't really go there. You have Ricky Rubio back, so that muddies up the bench rotation. So really just the main four guys for me on Cleveland. Let's move over to Memphis. Not much here. John Morant in a really tough spot, so I'll be looking elsewhere. I think there are better spend ups in better spots. Jaren, Bane, Adams, Brooks. Nope. Easy to talk about. Let's move over to Miami. And it's another tough spot here, so this team's pretty easy to talk about. Bam, Butler, Harrow, Oladipo, no thank you. I will say Tyler Harrow is definitely in play if Kyle Lowry's out and the minutes go up. Like, he would be too cheap if Kyle Lowry's out. Would have interest in Harrow if Lowry's out. And would have interest in Bam. I think Jonas Valanciunas, I'm not scared of this spot. And Bam's been super aggressive of late. So some interest in those guys. Butler's been extremely passive. I still think he's a little bit overpriced, and I'm not going to go to any of the Miami value. Let's move over to the Pelicans. So still no Zion, still no Ingram. We have Herb Jones doubtful. Did not see that. So CJ going to lead the way offensively. Really high usage rate. My only concern is the matchup, and his peripheral stats have been way down. I don't understand it. But he'll be the clear number one on this team. He's been a very letdown, so the ownership's going to drop. So interesting GPP play. Jonas Valanciunas in a really tough spot up against Miami, but the minutes have been up of late. Like, if I knew Jared Allen? Jonas Valanciunas is going to play like 35 minutes. I would like him even in a tough spot, but those minutes are never secure. The wings, they're okay with no Herb Jones, like Najee, Trey Murphy. They're both going to play a ton of minutes, so they both feel like pretty safe options to me. And then Jose Alvarado played a ton last game. If we're going to continue to get over 30 minutes from Jose Alvarado at 4.4K, he actually looks like a pretty good value to me. A guy that can stuff the stat sheet, very good defender, can get those defensive stats. So yeah, like me some Jose Alvarado. And then with Herb out, Dyson Daniels will move into the starting lineup. Probably play around 25 minutes. Very low usage guy, but playable value. Very good that he has shooting forward eligibility. Let's move on to Charlotte. So this game looks awesome. Amazing. Phenomenal spot here. Houston plays fast. Charlotte plays fast. They both don't play defense. I think LaMelo Ball looks like one of the best spend ups on the slate tomorrow. Absolutely love LaMelo Ball in this spot. If you want to go to a lower owned Terry Rozier and go for a leverage play off LaMelo chalk, be my guest. I think he's firmly in play. I think the bigs are firmly in play. Mason Plumlee and PJ Washington. Their minutes are just so up of late, and it's really good to see for DFS. So I really like LaMelo. I think Terry Rozier's fine. I think Plumlee, PJ are both solid plays. With no Hayward, you're going to get McDaniels in the starting lineup playing huge minutes. I think he's a very safe option. So a lot to like here with Charlotte. Let's move over to Houston. So really going to depend on Kevin Porter Jr. for me. If Kevin Porter Jr. is in and not on a limit, I like him for tournaments. I think Jalen Green would be a little bit pricey. Would much rather go to KPJ. Alfred Sengun in a phenomenal matchup. I think the price tag is going to keep people off him, I'm not worried with the price tag. I'm not. If he's going to continue to play, low to high 30s minutes, I'm still not scared of this price tag. So still some interest in Sengun. If KPJ's back, KJ Martin's out of play. Probably get off Eric Gordon. Not going to go to Eason or Tate though. If KPJ's out, that changes things. Then I'm gonna like Jalen Green in a really fast-paced game. Jalen Green strives in these fast-paced games. He'll have all of the usage to himself. I would like Sengun. Jabari Smith would be playable 5.4K. KJ Martin would be a good value. He would move into the starting lineup. Good point per minute guy. Probably plays, 30, 35 minutes. Would like him. Eric Gordon would be playable at 4.5K. He gets a huge usage bump with no Kevin Porter Jr. You guys wouldn't think that Eric Gordon would ever get a usage bump, but with no Kevin Porter Jr., he gets a big usage bump, especially with the shot taking. So he would be in play. And then you could consider guys like Tate, Eason, but on this slate, I don't think it would be necessary. So, that KPJ news gonna be pretty massive. Let me take a sip of OJ, and we'll move on to the next games. All right. So the Clippers at Utah, we're gonna have to keep an eye. It's a back-to-back, so I do think there is a chance one of, or if both of the Clippers guys rest tomorrow. So I'm pretty positive one of them will rest. If they're both in, I'm just gonna cross off the Clippers in a good spot. Probably not gonna get to anyone. If they're both out though, Powell's gonna look good. Man's gonna look good. Zubac's gonna look good. Marcus Morris would be playable. Batum would be playable. Reggie Jackson would look good at 3.5K. I'd assume he would have to play a lot more, even though he's been in the doghouse. Amir Coffey would be in play. Gonna have to keep an eye on the Clippers news here. Definitely would like a lot on the Clippers if both of those guys are in fact out, or if one of them out. We'll make updates in the Discord and on Reddit. So we do have Markkanen questionable. That news also very, very huge. If Markkanen's in, not much for me. Like Mark, I think is appropriately priced. Clarkson appropriately priced. I still really like Kessler, regardless if Markkanen's in, but would prefer Markkanen to be out. You saw that. Not going to expect 20 rebounds again, but with no Markkanen, his rebounding rates will go up, which helps with his floor and ceiling. But I still like Kessler, even if Markkanen's in or out. Really good point per minute guy, as long as he can stay out of foul trouble. Vanderbilt, no thank you. Malik Beasley, no thank you. Sexton, no thank you. But if Markkanen is out, then, that changes things. Clarkson's going to look really good in the mid-range after he killed everyone this slate, but he'll play huge minutes. Be the clear number one of this team, especially if Paul George and Choir out. The matchup just gets much, much better for him. So Clarkson would look good. Walker Kessler gets a huge bump. Would love Walker Kessler. Mike Conley would look really good at 5.3K. He gets a massive usage bump. Malik Beasley would be in play at 5.1K. Started, but very, very scoring reliant. Colin Sexton, I think is in play regardless, but would prefer Markkanen to be out because there's a lot of minutes to go around if Markkanen is in fact out. So yeah, gonna have to keep an eye on this game. Definitely some things to like, especially if Markkanen is in fact out. So we have Anthony Edwards questionable. I fully expect him to play. We have Rudy Gobert questionable. I play him, gets injured, but don't expect him to play. So we're gonna go over it assuming he is out. I still think Ant's a little bit too cheap. Now it is a tough spot. But he's probably going to shoot the ball 25 plus times. Been on a tear of late, 48, 45, 46 fantasy points 3 of the last 3 games. No Rudy Gobert, definitely a usage bump. So like Ant, that shooting forward eligibility is definitely really good. D'Angelo Russell, I don't know why the price went down. I really don't. So regardless of if Gobert's in or not, I think he's a very, very safe play at 6.8K. And then, yeah, with Gobert out, I think Naz Reid looks like one of the best plays on the slate. I don't care about the matchup with Jokic. As long as he stays out of foul trouble, he's the best play on the slate. It's not close, so love Naz Reid if Rudy Gobert is out. Kyle Anderson would be a very safe play if Rudy Gobert is out. Just going to have to play a ton of minutes. Guy that can stuff the stat sheet. Pretty much do it all. McDaniels would be fine, but it would really be Ant and Naz Reid for me, and D'Lo if Gobert's out. So, I mean, if Gobert's out, Jokic is just going to absolutely feast here on Naz Reid. So, Jokic looks phenomenal, especially if Gobert's out. Just gets, oh man, it's going to be great. It's going to be great watching Jokic play against Naz Reid. So, love Jokic at the top if Gobert's out. I don't know why Jamal Murray went from 8K back to 6.5K. Makes absolutely no sense to me. So, Jamal Murray's too cheap at 6.5K. He looks pretty good to me. Aaron Gordon, MPJ, just fine filler plays. And yeah, not going to go to anyone else on the Denver side. So last game here, this game also looks very, very appealing. Lakers play no defense. They play fast. So Sabonis, I think, makes for one of the best sped ups on the slate. Probably gets you close to a triple-double. Probably plays insane minutes if the game stays close. So love me some Sabonis. I think Fox is too cheap at 8.3K. Don't know why the price went down here. Guards have been absolutely killing the Lakers, so I really like this spot here for Fox. Barnes, Herter, contrarian plays for me, and not going to go to anyone else. I think Monk is interesting. Like I said, guards have been destroying the Lakers. He'll get extended when he's shooting the ball well and has the upside to break the slate at this price tag. So I always have interest in a guy like Malik Monk. Phenomenal spot here for the Lakers. Love LeBron here at the top. I think he looks pretty good. Just super safe, man. Like one of the best, always one of the best cash game plays with no Anthony Davis, just because his floor is like 55 fantasy points. So I think this is a spot where he could absolutely just nuke. So like LeBron quite a bit. Russell Westbrook, his minutes have been up of late. I do have some interest, but I think the price is now getting to a point where he's appropriately priced. Thomas Bryant has been losing a minute, so I can't go there. Schroeder, fine play, definitely overpriced in my opinion. Wendy Gabriel, they've been closing with. If they continue to close with him and play mid-20s minutes, I actually have some interest. Solid point, not a good point per minute guy, but an okay point per minute guy. I think they want him out there for his defense, which definitely makes sense. So definitely firmly in play Wendy Gabriel. I don't think I can go to the value like Pat Bev, Troy Brown Jr. These guys will play minutes, but they're very low usage. If you want to go there to have room for like pivots for late news, be my guest. I think that's perfectly fine. And I think that'll be it for me with these games and this slate. So I really hope you guys had a good night tonight, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.